Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club Podcast, episode 87. Getting into a big one with some race previews today. We have Olli about to make the trip over to Africa.
Yeah.
First time to Africa.
First time to Africa, yeah.
George making the trip a little closer to home, back to LA.
Favorite place to go, apparently.
Once again. But before we get into it, just for the opening of the show, a little reflection on our draft last time. Just got to say, I think you boys, based on the comments, might owe me a coffee/pastries.
This is the thing, though. I saw some comments saying that they backed both George's team and my team in certain situations. But your team definitely got the most response.
It was a convincing majority that was picking Morgan Smiley.
I just wanted to clarify that our teams did get some, we got some votes.
You guys had some love. We also got a lot of other people that made really good teams based on the people that we missed. And then we also, I don't know if you remember exactly what you said, George. You said something about that.
I was going to make an announcement about that.
Yeah, do you want to make the announcement?
Well, not an announcement. I feel like...
An apology?
I was going to make an apology for suggesting that no one over the age of 30 listens to the pod.
30 was a low number to pick as well.
I mean, I was partly kidding, obviously. But I was very impressed with how many people took that pretty personally.
Mate, you rallied a community. You rallied a community because all of a sudden I see these comments like, I'm 58 years old and I listen to the podcast. Like, yeah, I'm 56. And then there's going through this list of like just rallying this community of older than 30 listeners, which is nice. It's nice to see.
I was impressed with our
demographic,
with our 60 plus numbers, honestly.
Yeah, shout out to those.
Not including our parents, obviously.
Yeah, that don't include Greg and Simon and Robert.
Yeah, the boys. But yeah, I think they'll be very happy to hear you take that back. And it was great.
Those are the guys that definitely have had so many suggestions for people that we missed.
They did. They were saying names that I'd never heard of before. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then there was a lot of people that, because I think initially we weren't really thinking about it like this, but then at the end we realized there were a lot of people that did a better job at trying to take the time into account and be like, Jim Ryan ran this back in 1960, so today it'd be this, so you should pick him for your team. So
we got a few people arguing for Herb Elliott's 1950, 330.
That was a big one.
Or something.
But that was a thing that I think was interesting because when I saw the comments about Herb Elliott, I was like, oh, why didn't I think of him? And then I realized he's not on the list that we're looking at. I was like focused on the list and just like assessing my picks from there. Whereas like, when you look at people in the past, you're not using them as much, which is like it kind of discriminatory.
That's on us. We should have thought that through and done a better job preparing. But the last thing you want to say about it, got the most amazing name suggestion for your team, Olli. If you would want to make a retroactive team name switch.
Well, what was the name?
The Four Horsemen.
Oh god, that's so good. That's way better than Harrowing Hordes. Four Horsemen. Yeah. That's unreal. The only thing I wish is that I had JAKOB on that team. Four Horsemen. JAKOB's there.
That would have been so good.
I was telling Yared about the Harrowing Hordes, and he had no idea what I was talking about.
What are you talking about, man?
He's like, what relay team? What are we doing?
Wait, I got to run a 4x mile?
We're running a 4x mile in Rabat. It's like, no, don't worry about it.
You should tell JAKOB that in Rabat this week.
Yeah, I will. I'll mention it to him.
Tell him I picked him.
Yeah, I'll let him know. Well, I mean, I think he's wanting to get on the pod as soon as possible, but we need to figure out logistics. Maybe in St. Moritz.
Yeah,
get him on.
Make it happen. But I was trying to... Just a little aside, I was trying to make a really cool Instagram post about the thing, which never came into fruition because I was trying to use AI art to make, like, in my head, there was going to be, like, perfect, like in that, that AI art style, which is, like, really kind of smooth, clean. It's going to be, like, these smooth renderings of, like, all of us together, like, epic team poster style. Needless to say, I can report that AI art is not quite that advanced yet. So maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. But probably the funniest thing, Tom Womtang was helping me out with it. And he put together some team posters, which maybe we'll still post them, even though they're terrible. Yours was the best because
I saw it, yeah.
As team coach was Olli in his team picture when he had a beard and glasses on. And then he also had a picture of freshman Olli as the athlete on his team.
What were they wearing? What was that from? Is that from a movie or something?
It
So-
looks like
Why are they covered in blood?
Okay.
looks like Smurfs.
Okay.
I couldn't decide what that was from.
It was because I told him to make it horror themed because their name was the Harrowing Horrors. So I said, make it scary.
And then I was just like clean cut.
See, if you made
in
the
a suit.
Yeah.
If you made the Four Horsemen, it'd just be pictures of like me, Yared, Grammy, just all with the horse bodies in their head.
That'd be the best team picture
Yeah,
ever.
honestly.
You'd still be centaurs.
Yeah, well, I mean, we would beat everyone, we'd smash everyone from Centaurs.
That would not be
can run
close.
way quicker.
But yeah, that was the draft. Maybe we'll post that on Instagram so you guys can actually see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think we'll do more drafts in the future because that was a lot of fun. So
We really could.
yeah.
We could make it a monthly.
We could do like a
Something
woman's
we
one, men's
Yeah.
one, like alternate, and there'll be.
There's you can do them you don't even have to do them about actual relay teams. You can like draft the most obscure products. Like you could draft like the best like soft drinks. Not that we would maybe do that.
Not that maybe we would potentially do that if you had a sponsor.
Shout out.
Shut up. But yeah.
So we'll think about that.
We'll think
but
about it.
moving on to the main topics today, we obviously have these previews, but before that, I don't know if I would call this world shattering, but there was some big news coming out of World Athletics via Citrus Mag this morning, which it did make me realize, like, if Citrus Mag didn't post this stuff, I would just not know.
No, I know. Yeah.
100%.
I would literally turn up to World Champs, be racing, and like, wait, they changed this rule?
You're like after the heat too. You're like, why are there no time qualifiers? It's like, oh wait, when did this happen?
Yeah.
But luckily, Citrus is
So-
on it.
I think they're for a lot of things that they post.
Yeah, you're like, thank God they're paying attention.
I wouldn't see this otherwise.
Someone is doing actual journalism out
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
it's not us.
It's not
It's not
us.
us. It's Chicky Chavez probably.
But for
We'll
those,
take a bunch of credit though for this part.
100% because this is on us.
so a big thing that we've talked about is, and a lot of people have talked about this, it's really obvious if you look at the 5K, for example. So a big issue has been at World Champs, Olympics, the way that they make it through the rounds, like heats to semis or just semis to finals, is they have a certain amount of spots for qualifiers based on the place in the heat, and then they have like the fastest losers, they call it, which are time qualifiers. And on paper, in theory, it makes sense, and I think it especially makes sense in the 100 or events where there's like limited lanes, so and the fields are smaller, so I think you're more likely to just coincidentally get a really stacked heat, and it can have a big impact. But it's so annoying in the 5K. I think the 5K, to me, maybe I'm biased, is the worst example of it, because the way they have done qualification for the finals, there's 15 people in the final, 2 heats, and they'll do 5, so top 5 from each, and then next 5 quickest. And if you look up the stats, it will be, for like all the years like I can think of, it's like 9 or 10 people make it from the second heat. And then, so that's 5 or 6 from the first heat. And so it's just so skewed based on what heat you get into. And it's a real thing. Like if you're racing at Worlds in the 5K, you're like desperately hoping, especially if you're more like on the cusp, if you're not like the favorite, you're like desperately hoping to be in heat 2 because it is such a big advantage. And so we had a podcast where we ranted about that issue specifically for the 5K a lot. And finally they've addressed it. I don't know who we thank. Sebco maybe, probably not.
I would think the athletic community to be anything, because like World Athletics wouldn't change this situation or this rule without people actually voicing their concerns with it. So I'd thank the athletic community for actually like voicing their opinions, and somebody's listened from World Athletics and fixed it, because it is like it was just it's something that it's nice to see people actually putting in feedback, and then it's being processed and put into action.
Yeah, the 5K is just, I mean, we are biased, but I also think it's pretty accurate, because it's not like in the 100, no one's running like a tactical 100, except maybe Fred, who's falling out. But like in the 5K, heats can be 30 or 40 seconds different just based on a decision to not.
Yeah, with the same
try
quality
hard.
of athletes.
Yeah. And so it just completely writes off this whole point. So now, what are we thinking? They'll put 8 and 8 instead?
Yeah, because they can't do the odd number, so it'll probably be
I'd say
Add an
8
extra
and 8.
person
Well, like
to the
it's
World
like
Finals.
16 to 16 not gonna make a difference,
Yeah.
really. So 8 and 8 would make a good sense, and also like I like, maybe because from the NCAA, but I like top 8. I like the
top 8 make it through.
top
That
8
does
make
feel
it through.
right, doesn't
That does
it?
feel
I
like
like
a
it
good-
because of All American from the NCAA's, but I like top 8, like 7, and then half somebody from one thing and then half somebody from the other thing and put them together and then put them on the line.
They have to run half the race each.
Yeah.
So if there's 3 rounds of 1500, they'll do 6s, right?
Yeah. The 1500
cool.
will be the 1500 will be
Top 6
interesting
to
though,
make the
because I've experienced in some majors, particularly the semi-final at Worlds was so stacked. Whereas like a situation will happen like that where it's just going to be so stacked to the point like it's not going to matter. You're just going to you're going to get lucky or not regardless, because there could be races, particularly with the 15, because of all the multiple rounds, where there's just going to be like a semi-final where it's not as stacked. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 solid guys, and then there could be like 8, 9 solid guys in the other. That's always going to happen.
The 1500 is hard because
It's just always
there are
gonna
more than 12 athletes in that race the 1500 who you would say are like
Yeah.
world-class athletes that
mean,
like potentially could medal.
Usually you look at 2 semis right at a Worlds or Olympics, and you could probably pick majority 98% of those people, 90 whatever, like majority of those people probably would make the final. You could you could say that.
So and then it's
Definitely.
also the steeple as well. So
There's also the Steeple,
which is cool.
Normally it's only 1 round, but there's normally 3 heats, so it'll be maybe 5s or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 15 people in the steeple final.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was 12 or 15.
Yeah.
I've never done it
Something
before.
Well, we'll
find out.
Yeah.
When he's on the start line.
Yeah.
George's like, wait, like counting. When do I have to kick?
Yeah.
Now. No, I'll kick now because it's
Right. Yeah,
Definitely a
it's-
lot of positives. And the other one that Citrus was suggesting was a good thing that I was just reading out was the kind of easier for fans to understand what was going on. And that definitely is a big thing for the commentators, because I feel like for the most part the commentators have to spend so much time reminding the fans what has to happen in this heat. And it's kind of their responsibility, but also like they shouldn't have to be spending half the race like explaining the qualification process.
You know what this just brought up and reminded me of? This is like being a little bit dramatic. Like the most annoying moment I've maybe had as a professional runner is because of this, and it won't exist anymore. So when I've been in Heat 1 twice, like both world champs, I was in Heat 1.
Yeah.
And
the Olympics.
The Olympics I was in Heat 2.
Oh, you were?
I just ran pretty bad. But
I thought you were in Heat 1.
so I might be calling myself a finalist soon, because I have to double check it, but I think I might have been in the top 7 or top 8 of my heat. But so when I was in Heat 1 and I came 7th or 8th, the media person from Athletics Australia, this is what they did to me. This is like the most brutal thing ever. They said, "Oh, we need to get an interview of you. Can we just interview you and pretend that you made the final?" That's what they made me do.
Oh yeah, because they didn't
Like
want to
before
wait.
the next one
While it was still going, because I like had to like walk through and stuff. They're like, "Yeah, can we get an interview of you pretending that you made the final?" Are you fucking kidding me? Because I knew I wasn't gonna make the final, because I was like 7th or 8th in Heat 1, which never makes the final, and we didn't run that quick. And I was so pissed off. It was like,
I'm guessing you didn't do it.
yeah, I did not. I was so out of it. I was like, you kidding me? Like that was like the most like kicking the balls.
I can comfortably say they do not do that anymore. They do not do that anymore, and they're pretty good about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Media, from what I've experienced, but it is. Yeah, that stuff is just like, because the worst thing about it is when you at a major championship and people like there's like a massive kind of like a path that you have to go through all around. In Eugene, you had to go like up the stairs and then go like along all these media outlets and then down out to more media outlets like down below. And like most people that are running like the 5K, for example, they're like slowing up the line because they're trying to watch the race to see if they're going to make it, like a few of them. Now they don't have to worry about that anymore. They can just go through. Just know. You're just like, I've done my race, I didn't make it, I can go home, or I've done my race, I qualified. There's no external stress.
The clarity will be very convenient for everyone involved, media and athletes and fans.
Yeah, I agree that for the fans it's the best, especially the casual fan who's like, what is going on here, trying to work it out. So
it's also gonna be nice knowing that, or not knowing that the second heat is gonna be just like
do you reckon that's going to change the tactics of the second heat?
Because last year at Worlds, Luis just went to the front of the second heat and just made it like 20 seconds faster than the first one, and obviously he was good enough to make it regardless.
Didn't he get second in that race in the heat?
Yeah,
probably. Like he was good enough to make it anyway, but it like that no one's surprised. It's like, oh yeah, it's a second heat.
It just
someone's taking it out fast. Like it pretty much happens every time. Probably a little bit in the 15 too. I can't remember what happened in the semi-final, but
they're all just going to be races contained within themselves. Just actual racing against the field rather than a different heat.
Like a hypothetical other race.
Yeah. Which is what you want.
The NCAA takes some
inspiration that's what I was wondering, because when they posted, did they say it was effective immediately? Like, so does that mean that they're going to, as quick as possible, try to do it in... Like all like if World Athletics does it, then you would think everyone else will try and do some version of it.
Yeah, but there's also rules like, for example, in the NCAA, can you still wear the super shoes for a 10K? And still like qualify you for NCAA?
So they don't follow.
Like there's some rules that they don't follow. However, like
you can wear them at World Athletics, it just won't
count. But then what's the point? You know?
Can you actually wear them?
Well, maybe not at Worlds, but you could wear them in any race.
You can wear them in the NCAA, and that mark can qualify you for NCAAs. Whereas, like, if George wore the super shoes for a 3K steeple, his time wouldn't.
Yeah.
Imagine you wearing super shoes for a steeple.
Just super bouncy shoes.
Yeah. Boing.
Maybe you do get DQ'd.
I don't think they let you race if you have shoes that aren't World Athletics certified in a World Athletics
even before
certified meet.
Those major races, they check your shoes before you.
So is NCAA that's just not a World Athletics certified meet?
I don't know how it works.
I
don't know. But I'm pretty sure
too many things.
Like you've been to at every Diamond League, you have to declare what shoes you're going to wear before.
So when you go to the claw room, they check your spikes, they check the length of the spikes, and then they check them again when you put them on. So. Dude, like in Zurich was really strict. Like they checked your spikes when you went to check in, and then once you put your spikes on, they told you to put your feet up and then measure them again, and then you go.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like, for example, you'd have to write it down too, like what.
Yeah, because I've done that at meets before.
Yeah,
like the day before.
But now, like usually the officials know what spike is what, and they don't make you write it. They just know.
Well, because I guess they have a list of shoes that you can wear, like because now you can't wear that.
If it is like a prototype, or if it's a shoe that's like a new Nike shoe that just came out, then they have to write
or
it down.
a new on shoe.
Or a new on shoe. But like the cloud spike,
10,000
meter cloud spike, that shoe is like already registered with World Athletics. Whereas if any prototype other than that, they'd have to write it down probably. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what is going to happen, which based on a small amount of research right before this with the River Challenge rounds that we were just talking about, because that seemed like one solution they'd come up with to the time qualifiers that no one liked. Like, all right, we've got this idea. You run one more race. This is how we're going to fix the time qualifiers. So, like, instead of time qualifiers, you just race again.
They should just get rid of that now because, now
what are they going to do?
Now in the 1500, it wouldn't be 666 because then it'd be like, they'd have to take less through, right?
Less autos, and then the other people would get to race again.
Yeah, which I guess is what they.
But that was going to be specific for the Olympics anyway, because they didn't want people to come to the Olympics and only race once. That was like the thing. It was like every single person
was
going to race at least twice.
But that's the thing is like, I don't know, man. If you're a guy that's maybe you made the Olympics, it's your dream, but your ability is not as high as some of the other athletes, and you want to just go and participate, then you have to participate again. And like lose it, like not lose again, but like you come last in the heat, then you go back. You have to go back and then come last again in the heat. Like,
I don't know if anyone in the 1500 is going just to participate.
But there are people that are in like from different countries that go to participate.
I think the bigger issue is just more how it just seems to dilute the point is to have the most exciting racing as much as possible, and it just dilutes it a little bit more by adding this extra safety round, which doesn't really seem necessary because. I'm sure I'll be proven wrong, and there'll be some amazing story where someone comes from the losers round and then gets a medal. But that's going to be so unlikely in our sport. Like in other sports, maybe that type of thing will happen more, but in our sport, it's like...
Particularly with the first round. Like,
it's
very unlikely that people get upset in the first round.
The people that have the ability to run 4 races and be in contingent medal won't need to run 4 races.
You would think. So.
Unless they literally fall or something, and then...
Yeah.
Who knows?
We'll
find out.
But so we're giving credit to World Athletics. We're still saying fix your shit. And then this actually made me think of another interesting talk that we were having in the gym this morning about kind of like World Athletics new qualification rules, which is resulting in some weird scenarios, which Ollie, you went there because Ollie was working out. But so the women's 10K in the US right now. So the 10K is extremely hard to qualify for based on time. And then they've put in these other ways to qualify for it for example, cross country, but these cross country meets are like pretty inaccessible. And so it only really favors a small amount of people
in Western Europe.
In Western Europe.
In pretty much Spain.
Yeah, that can get the qualifiers. And then because the qualification is so hard, but like a lot of people have then gone and got it, and then they have so many spots that they're giving away to these cross-country people and all that, they're not going to have anyone qualifying based off ranking. So, or able to have a qualifier based off ranking, which is crazy because, yeah, like...
That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, their whole point of all the new ranking and the times and everything is to have half and half.
Mm-hmm.
And so the field size is small for the 10K too. That's part of the reason it's so hard. It's 27 or 28. And in the women's, 20 people have the standard, and there's like 8 spots reserved for cross-country qualifiers.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what that means, but that's just already the field size.
And so what could be the scenario right now for the US, because Alicia was talking about this, at USA's, there could be only 3 people on the start line that could possibly qualify for Worlds because they have those automatic qualifiers. So it's kind of crazy. So for Alicia, because she's thinking about doing the 10K, 5K double, it would be like, yeah, just go jog the 10K so you can finish the race. Well, I don't even know if she would have to run it to get picked.
I think the US, you have to run, or maybe you have to run at the championships. I don't know if you have to run the race.
Yeah, I don't even know if you have to run it. Maybe it's different if you have the wild card from being previous champion, because they don't have to run the same event.
Yeah.
But if she had to run it, Ritz would probably be telling her, because the 5K is very competitive, he's probably telling her, like, don't go that hard in the 10K. I guess you have to watch out if someone else is going to hit the standard in the race, which is possible. Hard to do, but possible. It's just like a crazy, weird dynamic where, because they've made the standards so hard and then added in these other like kind of loopholes, these people who you would think are good enough to have a qualifier, I'm not necessarily saying like they should like definitely be at Worlds, but they should be able to have a qualifier, so then they have like the right to like go to USA's
and compete for a spot.
Yeah. Potentially. You're screwing them over so bad, because
it also makes the race pretty boring.
Yeah.
You've got an entire race dedicated to making the team, but the team is already
selected by the time.
Well, the one thing that would be exciting would be the people that need a qualifier, if they're actually like, fuck it, I'm going to go get the qualifier right now.
That's one way it can go, is that if you have the 3 top American women in the 10K, but you have like 4 or 5 girls who all know they can run the standard, or they believe they can run the standard, and they all know that they have to run the standard to make the team. They'll just go.
They should
just go.
should team up.
Yeah,
like
run it together, and then when it gets to a K to go, they're like, all right, the best woman on the day takes the W. But then you can think
Alicia's like, for example, Alicia's just going to sit on them.
Yeah. So like, but the thing is, if Alicia sits on them,
then at least it's interesting.
Yeah, but if Alicia sits on them and then wins, there's like a second or third girl that wasn't in the beginning hasn't qualified, so it could make it more exciting.
Yeah,
but it could also just go the other way, and they just don't.
Yeah,
they just, I don't know.
So it was just a funny like scenario. It's just weird that's what it's like now. The 10K is just, they're trying to kill the 10K. They've been listening to George.
They're
trying to kill it. 8 cross-country spots seems crazy when there's only 28 entrants and 8 of them don't even have to run a 10K.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Well, I don't think.
I don't know if that's the rule. Someone can fact check.
Yeah, well, we don't know the rules. We went to Sound Running and thought that we were getting a 10K
certain individuals points. Literally went to the press conference and said, I'm here for the points, and then they will never get those
and
points.
They didn't exist.
Yeah.
So we don't know the rules. So Citrus Mag, please clarify that for us.
Speaking of 10K though, big shout out to On Track Nights.
Oh yeah.
Track. Night of 10Ks.
Night of 10K PB.
London.
Actually looked
Highgate.
Epic.
So sick.
It looks so sick.
They did such a good job, man.
The vibe there was amazing. They had...
If I'm going to run a 10K, which I'm probably... No, I'm not going to say. It would be there.
Yeah.
If I had
I still don't want to do it.
If I had to run a 10K to like, I don't know, keep my career intact or something, then I would do it.
If it was life or death.
Yeah, life or death. I would do it there. It looks
That's
amazing.
where I would choose to do it.
That's where they, honestly, like, Joe and Alicia should go there and just crush it. Next time if they need a standard, you know? Don't do it where there's... Like, if you compare... Like, not to diss... where they did at the 10, because like the 10, you know, they set up a meet so they can
more controlled.
Yeah, they can actually like run the standard and have that environment, and they ran super quick. But if you imagine if you had Eyelash McGuckins and Alicia at the night of 10Ks in London,
So
that would have been
exciting.
epic. That would have been so sick. And then like Joe too, like Joe and Woody in that situation. Porsche Lima would have been there. Like it would have been really, really. I think that was that would have been a race where Joe and Woody could have definitely been like, we can run to 27 here. Like we can do it.
That crowd support. Yeah, the way they do it was just, for people who didn't see it, they let the crowd, they have a beer tent over the final. I think it's is it where you finish or is it on the backstretch?
I honestly think
It's
I
where
want
you
to say there was
finish.
one on both.
Yeah, they could be, because I feel like,
feel
they
there
were
was a
always
team.
running under it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and people get to go into, it must be lane 4 or 5.
I think it's the edge of lane 4, which was crazy because there was also a motorbike filming
Yeah.
with a race like a field size that meant they had to lap some people. So like sometimes the leader was in like lane 2, the motorbike was in like
Just squeezing.
lane 3, and then the fence was like lane 4.
Yeah, the other
It's
things
crazy.
that they do to contribute to just the excitement is they put a shit ton of people in each race. Like there are so many people, and the top people are so good, so they're overlapping so many people, which obviously very annoying, but it makes it very exciting. And then they pretty much just turn it into a carnival, like a English medieval carnival. They just hire all these people that you wouldn't really think of, but
They
then
have
when
jousting?
you see they might have had jousting. They have, like,
They might have. Yeah.
They have like essentially clowns like doing the juggling. They have like a brass band.
They're clowns.
yeah, a good trumpet.
No, Ollie scared of clowns.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
know.
about that. Okay, there weren't any clowns. No clowns there. Just other
They had
fun
rock
stuff.
climbing there.
Rock climbing.
yeah.
Just a great time. And the thing was, the stands were not big at all, but it didn't matter because all these people could be close to the track. And I think we'd all agree on this. Having a small stands that are full compared to a big stands that is empty is like the night and day. Like how much it could be the same amount of people, but if it's in a smaller environment and you can feel that energy, like it's so much better. So
I think if you're gonna have a distance only meet, like we've sort of decided that all 4 on track nights are, it's a no-brainer to have the track open to stand on. Like we distance runners don't need 8 lanes, so put the freaking fans there. Apparently we weren't allowed to do that at Mount Sac. Some school
There
rule
was
or something.
a school policy or school
Yeah.
rule, which like at the end of the day, it's like you're borrowing the track from them.
Also pick a
different track,
different track. Honestly,
pick a different location, which is like
I
it
think
is
that is
huge for
very
distance
important.
runners to have
Yeah.
Very
having
important.
people that close. The only time I think I've had it is Sir Walter Marler.
yeah. I've never experienced that.
It's so fun.
I've never experienced it.
Makes the track feel way smaller.
Yeah. Well, I think not to
It'd be crazy in the steeple
try and fix anything.
with like the barrier.
Yeah, that would be nuts. Not to fix anything, but I think the next time they do the LA meet, like having that, I think having the experience of seeing the London meet, and then obviously they've got Paris and Vienna and then Melbourne. Because I think in Zatopek they do the same thing.
Zatopek, they've always done it.
Yeah.
So I've been like one of those people that like is
So
on the track watching.
They're gonna see that,
Sweet.
and On's gonna be like, well, in LA we know how to get like a better kind of engagement with the fans and the athletes during the races. We'll find a track where we can kind of get the athletes, the fans and the athletes as close as possible.
Yeah.
I really hope Paris looks something like the London one.
I'm sure it
I
will.
mean, there'll be a lot of baguettes and stuff, and
There'll be
it's-
baguette
and
jousting.
just smoking mimes in the corner.
They'll be smoking cigarettes.
Cigarette-
in lane
smoking
4.
cigarette.
Yeah.
The guys are sitting there at the bell with a cigarette going like this.
Ringing the
smoking. That would be unreal.
Yeah. So that was very cool. And the film, I would say the presentation of it on had a free stream on YouTube, and it was amazing. The filming of it was having like the bike following along, and just all the different camera angles are very dynamic, good commentating. So it was sick. They interviewed some influencer halfway through the race who I had never heard of, and I tried to find him and I couldn't even find him.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I was
didn't
just
see that.
if I was just searching him wrong. His name was like Harry Runs or something, but he wasn't actually a runner, but that was just his YouTube name.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was sweet. So credit to them, and let's keep that stuff going. But moving on to this is the big leagues, the Diamond League, stop number 2, I believe, coming to Rabat, which is always, I think Rabat's always a really cool one because the Moroccan fans are pretty crazy about all the distance running. It tends to always have a good 1500. Ollie here is getting his outdoor season started, and he's doing it in a very exciting fashion. I suppose every Diamond League 1500 is always an amazing stacked race, but we have I wrote them down as the 3-headed OAC Serpent, middle distance Serpent, Mario, Olli, Jared representing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know this until today that JAKOB is in the race.
We found out 3 or 4 days ago that JAKOB was running, which actually surprised me because I know he's confirmed for Oslo. Like, he's setting up that 1500 to be quick. I didn't expect him to run Rabat, to be honest. So
I agree.
It's a lot of travel.
to be honest, I commend him because the one thing our sport needs is like we need more racing with the best in the world, right? That's how I keep people engaged through the season. And he's turning up. Like, there's certain athletes out there that don't turn up for races and just wait till Worlds, but he is an athlete that's the best in the world, and he turns up mostly every major race. So I got to give him credit for that.
I feel like he would never say it because he is so just focused on himself. But I hope he's there because of you, Mario and Jared. He would never say that in an interview or anything.
I mean, okay.
You look at the field.
Fill it in for himself. If you're thinking for himself, like if he wants to be the best, if he wants to win that elusive world gold medal that he hasn't got yet, he's got to race everyone that is a threat. He needs to experience that, right? Jared Nagus is a huge threat for him. Mario, also a huge threat for him. I feel like I'm also a huge threat for him.
You can say that.
Because we're 3 athletes that are near that kind of, I feel like, some of the best athletes in the world. And you never know when anybody's going to have a great day to a fire day, you know? Like, it's just like what happened with Jake Whiteman at Worlds. It's like Jake Whiteman's, like, he turns up to Diamond Leagues and he runs and he wins races. And I think JAKOB knows that if he competes with everyone, like we know, if we compete with all those people, I think that's made me a better racer and a better runner from the past 2 years, is because I get the opportunity, which is a privilege, to compete at the Diamond Leagues. And whether it's a good or bad race, you learn from it and you get that exposure leading into Worlds. I don't think he's a fool for that. I think he's really smart about it, and he wouldn't be going to Rabat unless he's ready. So
he's probably raced every single person in the field except Jared. Maybe he's thinking like, I need to go suss this dude out.
Have they never
like,
raced each other?
Never raced each other.
Apparently that's also just all our content from I'm pretty sure Citrus.
Yeah, Citrus Mag just like blew it up.
Yeah.
It's like Jared
I
versus
think
JAKOB.
they have no record against each other.
It makes
So maybe
sense.
JAKOB's like, all right, I gotta suss this dude out. What does it take to?
Wow.
I mean, the
Competing
first time I raced JAKOB was Gateshead, my first time in league.
Yeah.
That was the first time I raced
That
him.
makes sense.
So like this is Jared's first time in league.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. So yeah, it'll be an amazing race. The field's out, so it looks like a normal Diamond League field. It's a stacked race and should be exciting.
Yeah, you do have to give credit to JAKOB. If you look
Yeah.
at the 1500 meter, if you say the last 2 or 3 years, whenever he started racing them, he's probably raced the most of them, except for he'd be in the top 3 or 5 of who's
I would
like
say
actually raced the
him,
most of them.
Tim Chariot, and
Stewie's raced
Stewie. I'd say those
and then
three.
you've raced a lot, but
I say those 3 have raced a lot of Diamond Leagues,
Yeah.
and they should be commended on
he's
that.
not afraid. He's not afraid of it, and it's so
No.
good to see, especially. I think this is just a matchup that we wanted, like all of us. I mean, all 3 of you guys are at training, ripping it, like doing these amazing things together. And I know all 3 of you guys are like, yeah, we want to beat JAKOB this year. So to have this matchup happen already
Yeah, opening race.
is so exciting. And it's going to be such a good preview because you have this one, Oslo, and then hopefully maybe another one or 2, and then World Champs. You know, it's going to be a nice, really, just a good starting point for what is probably going to be an amazing season of racing between these boys and JAKOB and everyone else that's really good in the 1500, because there are a lot of other really amazing
And
people
no
as well.
British runners in
Yeah,
this.
which is the
And
number.
they have like
They're probably the
3 in the top 10 in
Yeah,
the world.
They're
so-
probably the most deep country in the world. So that's another thing, is that I think Oslo, you'll see 3, maybe even 4 British boys in
That's
that
where
race.
they'll show up.
Yeah.
But do you have any early race tactics, plans, preview you can tell us?
This is my personal opinion, so obviously it's like this might not happen. I think JAKOB sees Jared as someone that's like just going to hang around and then wait 200 meters to go and then try and wax him.
Yeah.
So JAKOB's going to squeeze the race earlier on. Like if you watch the Oslo race, I think JAKOB will run the Rabat like that. He'll make it hard earlier and try and get rid of that kick from Jared. I believe that's what he'll do, because there's no way he doesn't know about Jared and like the way Jared races at the moment.
Yeah, he's finished.
If I were Jared, I would stick to my game plan, because I've won 8 races in a row? You won 8 or
Something like
7?
that.
Right.
Yeah, so like if I'm looking at it as like, why would I, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So just run the race that you usually run. For me, though, I know exactly what I have to do, and that's stick behind JAKOB.
Take advantage of him trying to do all the
work.
work.
Take advantage of him doing that, because I believe from my race at Com Games, I think I'm stronger now than I was then. In my Com Games race, I watched actually last week just to kind of figure out what I was doing, because I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of just running off instinct, but I was very much more just tucked in and waited. And I think that's what I need to do, because I believe if it is the way that it's out, then it's going to be not a smash, like a huge close, but a relative close to where I can hopefully have the strength come through. So that's how I'm going to run the race, is I'm going to kind of engage off those two. And then Mario's an amazing racer. He gets better every race. Like he's going
to be very similar to you, I would imagine.
Yeah,
how
he'd probably be, I could honestly see probably the last 100 to 150 meters. We have been doing a lot of 150s. The last 150 meters, I could see a lot of changing in placing, as well as Mario, Jared, JAKOB, myself, Kip Sang. I'm sure there's a lot of people I'm missing, but all those amazing athletes, they're probably still going to be there. So unless JAKOB's like, I'm going to run 328.
Yeah,
so I think pulled a quick one at Milrose, just went right behind the pacer.
Yeah.
So he tries to block JAKOB.
He's not afraid. He's not afraid.
Although JAKOB just jogs the first 100 anyway.
Well, the thing is, JAKOB, he if you watch him race, he will build it to a point, and then it won't get any quicker, or make it a little slower, but very, very very small amount increment slower. Whereas Jared, like that, like he'll run a 25 like that. But it'll be, I'm not saying it will be a challenge for Jared, because I think he's racing someone that's very different to him in the way he executes races. I think JAKOB is a very slow burner, whereas Jared will like go when he needs to.
So he's just got to be there.
He's just got to be there. And I think this is going to be a race where, this is probably the race where you could see JAKOB getting beaten, I think. Because even if he does get beaten, I don't think he's going to be like, oh, my season's over. He's just going to be like, okay, I got to like reassess my year, because this guy is now, at my level. He's not inferior.
Yeah. So it's going to be so amazing. And I do hope that it does play out kind of how you said, where JAKOB is trying to squeeze everyone and you guys are all just feeling it out behind him, sticking on him. And then if you're still there at the right time and you feel good making those moves and just going crazy, then I think that'd be so exciting to watch. So.
I think it's going to be very exciting. I think it's going to be that race where 100 to go, you'll have 3 or 4 guys and people will start to move. And it'll be quick. I think it's going to be quick. Yeah. I think 3:31 for the win, 3:30 for the win.
Yeah. I mean, I think
at least I would
say. Yeah, you guys are, especially you, in very good shape. You finally had a month to settle down and train properly without any travel. So you guys are so ready to go. Yeah, but it is, I guess, the first race of the season. So there is still...
it's a bit of a rust buster.
A bit of a rust buster. I think everyone is hoping that they're in a point where they still have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
So you got to take that into account. But the other exciting...
Well, when is this race?
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for reference, today's
wasn't
Monday.
Expecting that.
So 6 days from now, right?
Mark your calendar. Ollie's flying into Africa tomorrow.
Morocco, yeah.
It's going to be crazy. I'm so jealous you get to go to Morocco.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That was the one thing when Dathan was like, he's like, Ollie, we're going to do Rabat. We're going to do it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, so we'll fly, if you're gonna. And then I just realized it, because I was so inept. It's in Africa, and I've never been to Africa before. So this is like ticking one of my boxes, is I get to go to Africa. So I'm very excited.
You just go drink mint tea and
go to the mosque.
Well, I really want to just, I don't know if there is going to be the ability to do this, but I'd love to like walk around Rabat.
Yeah. I've heard it's a bit of like a resort thing you stay on, but I'm sure it's going to be like beautiful. So we'll see. But then, we also have Sage debuting for the 800.
Finally gets
for this season. And she's teeter-totter. She's gone below it. She's gone above it. She's done everything except
blue balling us.
Yeah,
with her actual event.
We've been waiting, and I'm not sure how many Diamond Leagues she ended up racing last year and doing well on, but
a lot.
She's now a staple on the 800-meter Diamond League circuit. So I think her race is an amazing field as well. Like kind of all the big names. Well, not all the big names, but a lot of them.
In it?
Let's check. I don't think she was, but they have. The Kenyan, Mary Mora, and Natoya Gould, and Katrina Bissett from Australia representing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any Diamond League 800 for the women's is just going to have a bunch of...
158 girls.
Yeah.
157
throw in some 156, 157 girls.
And then there's a cool 155 girl that just rocks up as well.
There's a couple of those occasionally.
Yeah.
So I think Sage is very ready to go based on her last couple of races. So it'll be awesome to see her get back into it and hopefully just back into her stride, because she ended last season on such a high note.
The Diamond League final.
Yeah, so crazy. So
it is crazy. I'm really excited for her. I think she's, from practice and chatting to her just bits and pieces, I think she's very, very enthusiastic about getting the 800 season going. So it'd be nice to see.
Yep. So that's Rabat. The big race. The team is going out there. Yeah, it is. If you think about it, it's just pretty epic. Like the team's going and doing these races. I think a lot of people would look at Rabat and be like, no, like that's too far away or whatever. But these guys are starting a nice little 3 or 4 week trip and going all the way to Africa to do it. And I think it's going to be so cool. So very excited to see those races play out. And then the other one that we have is George here racing another steeple back in LA, as we mentioned, the USATF LA Grand Prix, which I think none of us realized how big of a meet it is or was. Some of the big stars have pulled out.
It kind of slept on a little bit, and then it got released with all these.
It really crept up on us.
It crept up on us, and I'm like, wow, look at this field. And then all of a sudden, Michael Norman out, Sidney McLaughlin out, Athing Mo out, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, still many amazing.
Mostly I'd say the distance side of it is actually pretty stacked.
Yeah, really, I think like Ryan Krauser. I think just across all the events, it's a lot of the best USA people, and all of those people are the best in the world.
I guess like the big headliners have dropped, but the remaining still very, very, very good.
So it's gonna be sick. It's at UCLA. Which have you ever raced there?
Never even been there.
Yeah, Drake Stadium, I guess it's called for some reason.
Wait, it's like blue track though.
Blue track. I like blue tracks.
We like blue tracks.
We like blue tracks.
Blue tracks are fast.
Oh yeah.
So we were looking for a start list before, and we couldn't actually find one, but I'm sure
I've seen it. Or Clicker found it the other day. I don't know how.
He's the man that you need. If you need a start list, he can find them.
So
he is good at that. So there's like a distance meet on Friday, and then the big dogs for the Grand Prix Saturday, like field and sprints, and the 15s, I think. Well, everything longer than 15s are on.
Oh yeah, Jake Whiteman's racing it. Huh?
Jake Whiteman's racing the 800.
Oh, the 800.
Neil Gourley's racing the 5K.
Yeah, there's a really good 5K.
Yeah.
Gourley, bunch of
Woody?
Dark Sky guys. Woody and Abdi are entered.
They're entered.
I'm
questionable.
Probably still trying to get into Europe things, and then maybe if they don't, they'll race. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, there's some really good ones. But Steeple, maybe some people from Sound plus Isaac Updike. Yeah, I feel like you could come up with a pretty good one.
I'm already thinking of one, but I can't say it.
There's got to be something there.
And
there could be something.
He's been in flag, I swear.
What's
the whole
Updike?
year.
No, sorry, that was bad.
Training with Neil, I think, which is always a good sign.
Isaac Downhike.
I don't get. I don't. Updike.
Downhike.
We'll workshop it.
I mean that came off the top of my head.
It's in the works.
Downhike.
Down dog.
Down dog.
It's not bad.
Classic.
He's good.
He's very good.
Who else is in it? Oh, I think NCAA champ from last year is in it. The EKU dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not at EKU anymore, but the dude.
Big Bird in it.
Big Bird is in it. Big Bird is in it.
Let's go. The other top USA steeplers in it is
Hillary's and Rabat, I think.
Oh, Rabat, okay.
And Keita, he just ran New York. So maybe not him. Mm-hmm. John Gay's in it though. He's good.
Legend.
Canadian guy.
I think he likes to make the race really fast.
I think he is known for
that's
helping out
with
the pace.
That's going to be good for you.
Thanks, John, in advance. No, it's going to be good, I think, and hopefully the weather's good. I feel like at this point, in my with my vast experience in the steeple, like first one experiment, second one experiment with trying to go faster, and then I'd love to run the standard. That's the A goal. May as well just get out of the way.
Standard's 8:15, right?
0.0. Yeah.
Do you know what the New Zealand record is? Because I know what it is.
8 faster than that. 8:14.
Not by much.
8:14.
Yeah. So really,
may as well get both.
Might as well get both. I'm thinking George, like
2 birds, 1 stone.
So I'm just saying this right now. When you plan the inevitable kick, make sure you give enough time to be under 8:14. Because I would hate to see you run 8:14 point something and then just miss the New Zealand record and then be like, oh shit, I gotta run another one.
Whenever you plan on kicking, just do it like 20 minutes
Just
early.
do it 20 minutes earlier.
Like 20 meters, sorry.
I'd also hate to run 8:16. I've already run 3:51 and missed the world standard in the fifth.
You got me excited and I
that-
spilt my iced coffee. So give me a
it's,
sec.
I mean, well, if I really have to run another one, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but it'd be lovely to
Just
get
be
it out of
done.
the way.
Wait, explain this to me. Ranking wise, is the Steeple 3 races or 5?
3.
Okay, so
So I
after
will
this,
have
you'll
a
have a
ranking
ranking.
after this.
And then,
Well, 2 of them will be decent.
yeah.
One of them will not be so good.
But,
Wait, is that the one that's not yours?
no.
Oh. Is that one still there? Because that's actually not yours. That's not fair if that was counted as your ranking, you know?
it
I
was
think
like
that was
years
from a
ago,
while
I
ago.
think.
Okay,
That
good.
was just my PR.
Imagine if they just... But he hasn't done enough Steeple, so we'll just use this one from 2007
Just
or
put it in
whatever.
there. It can just be a place filler
Yeah,
for
yeah.
now.
It's placeholder.
But I think, 100%. You want to knock out that qualifier so you can feel good about that. Because I think I guess, after this one, I think, you'll probably still be confident that then you'll have another one that's good before World Champs. So you'll be able to have a really good ranking. But that qualifier just feels very nice to have. No
It's
stress.
nice to have in the back pocket.
No stress. So then you would just know that, you got that locked down. So,
Have done one hurdle workout since the last one, and it was good. So
some amazing workouts.
Yeah,
I
that
think-
workout that you did with Joe where you're doing hurdles as well. That's probably the most impressive workout I've seen anyone do on the team. Like, I'm being serious. Because that was a lot of work.
it was very long.
It's like 8 miles of work on the track.
Yeah, plus hurdling.
10 miles
Plus
of
hurdling.
total running on the track.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that.
George is
more than once.
simultaneously training for the 10K and the steeple.
Yeah. Ritz is building him up. He's like, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting him for the 10K.
Trying
He's trying to turn everyone into 10K runners, bro. Next thing you know,
noticing.
like
It's a
Morgan's
natural.
like starting to do workouts, and Morgan's like, these look like 10K workouts, and he's like, no, they're not, just the regular team workouts. And then all of a sudden, he has a team meeting, and he's like, everyone's doing a 10K now, unless you're off the team.
Yeah. It's the natural progression.
It's just a natural progression.
I mean, 1500, 800, 1500, 10K.
It's the greatest event.
It's just the way it goes. So, yeah, I think that race is on Friday night, as you said.
Friday night.
So,
And
Would
then-
there be? Can you watch it on Flow Track or because it's
you
USATF?
TV,
Oh,
USATF
USATF TV.
which not
It
many
wouldn't be
people
on
have accounts
NBC?
for that.
I feel like it's big enough. It would be on
Maybe
NBC.
Saturday
Maybe.
pod.
I think just Saturday.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to watch Friday for sure.
Good
or
luck.
Something.
Good luck asking your friend if you can use the USATF account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Who has one? Do you think?
no one. I think there's probably just like one person that has one, and everyone just asked to use it.
I feel like
There's one.
I don't know
total
why,
account.
but I feel like Joe Klecker would have an account. Maybe not his, but maybe like a parent.
They should give free accounts to
to USATF people. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Someone should just post their thing on Let's Run or something. their
Well,
account.
we have a little sneaky link on the Discord. We have a streaming little section, and
Yeah.
often those meets you can find them. You can find them for free on there.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
on the
where
Discord.
that's
You
where
didn't hear
I've
from
watched-
us.
That's where I've watched some of these
You didn't hear
races
from us.
from time to time.
Or we'll get Avery to buy a USATF account and then just share it to everyone.
He'll finally do something.
Yeah.
And I'm heading straight from LA to meet Ollie in Switzerland.
Meet in the middle.
I can't wait to get up to that. You know the top roof place
Mm-hmm.
and have dinner up there with a radler.
Back to St. Moritz.
I am
Back
going
to
to drink a
St.
lot of Radlers.
I'm drinking a lot of radlers.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so good. And the nice thing is, like, you can just sit there and there's going to be nice air quality as well.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Morgan's going to have moved to Flagstaff by the time we're back. 'cause it-
No, Morgan will be in St. Maurice with us
'Cause
because
of the
he'll text us and be like, "Bro, this is ridiculous. I'm packing my bags." I'm leaving."
Guys, come on! I'm working on my anxiety. We don't need this. We haven't even talked about it on the show yet, but Boulder in the last I think 3 or 4 days has been hit with the wildfire smoke from Canada. Thanks, Canada.
So
why
early
can't they
Early
deal
listeners
with
would
it?
know that I think our first section of the podcast was us just dissing on Boulder and how shit the air quality was.
It was a big part of the
A big
reason.
part of the start of the
which
podcast.
Flagstaff does get the smoke, but I think it's more protected than Boulder. Boulder just gets screwed for whatever reason.
Well, this is the thing is we've had good rain. Like it's not the fires aren't from here; they're from a different country. So
Very
it's been
far.
tough. It's been tough.
To be fair,
It's
like,
tough to accept.
Yeah, it's tough to accept that like everyone in Boulder is like doing the right thing, and then
well, so is everyone
bloody
in
Canadian.
Canada.
Yeah, the Canadians. It's just tough.
We have
Just
to
tough.
acknowledge and have a lot of sympathy for it. These are like terrible wildfires, a lot of destruction, so it sucks.
Do
Us
they know
getting the
how it
smoke
started?
is probably. I think there's multiple wildfires. I think
It just
a bunch of different causes. But
Did you
us,
see that video of Calgary?
Is
Oh, I
just,
saw it. It looked like an apocalypse.
is it like
Yeah.
where everything's just red?
It's just red,
The sky
yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah,
Are people evacuating and stuff?
definitely.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
bad. So
It's
yeah,
unlike the Canadians to have something that bad.
No, they get- they
have
know-
wild-
They get fires.
every
like fires
year,
like that?
every year, like that area, like the more west part, has really bad wildfires, similar to like the California.
Oh, okay.
That there's just they've had drought there, I think, for a really long time.
Okay.
So
That makes sense because, yeah.
So yeah,
Tough.
it's very unfortunate. Us getting the smoke while it stresses us all out, me in particular, a lot. Not nearly as bad as what
So
the people that are actually at the fires have to experience.
When I was heading to practice, and then Morgan texted me, he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna close your window in your room." I was like, "No worries, bro."
Well, I got my filtration purification system going.
yeah.
You get home and the doors are taped.
Yeah.
I've thought about that's
Morgan's
the thing.
walking in a hazmat suit.
I've thought about doing that because it's like, you know, if you're gonna do it right.
You do it
Let's-
properly.
Let's
yeah.
seal the house down.
But no, it is very, very sad what's happening with Canada right now. So hopefully it's gonna get better before it gets worse.
But yeah, so I'll be here and holding down the fort. These boys, doing their 3 or 4 week race trips. George going to St. Moritz, and then still TBD, I believe, on the exact races that he'll be doing. But I'm sure he'll be
TBD. I'd
he'll
love
be-
to do one flat race though. That's penciled in.
spoiler.
Oh, look at him talking like a steepler now. Just gonna
Yeah.
do one flat race.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's gonna be tweeting about how he's just gonna wax all these milers.
Yeah. Shout out to Mason Pellick. Can't wait to go down and show these boys how to run
the actual their event. You know,
how to run the 1500.
George would actually succeed in that though.
has succeeded.
He has succeeded. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else? Just excited to race again.
Yeah,
huh?
excited to. I mean, this is like really when the big season kicks off, really. So it's excited to see all our teammates and everyone heading overseas to
I'm looking
Go.
forward to the merger between all three
OACs.
heads of
Oh,
OAC.
the heads. Yeah.
The coaches
Well,
specifically.
no, I mean
That would be the funniest thing.
Okay, that too. But
Seeing the
except- 3
3 coaches, Thomas, Dathan, and Craig, just sitting on the porch with a coffee, just like maybe just talking about
Just arguing about training. probably.
arguing about training. It's like, well, I do this, and it's like, well, I do this, and or they all go for a run together.
And Dathan just drops the
Dathan
fuck
just
out.
he puts his echoes on, and Thomas
Yeah.
and Craig are looking at him going, "What are you doing?"
Does Thomas run?
I'd say he would, but I haven't seen it. I've seen him on the bike a
He's
lot.
pretty young.
Yeah,
I'm more meant the teams. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It's going to be like, what's that show that we used to watch where
The Avengers Assemble.
essentially I'm thinking of Power Rangers personally.
So this is what I feel. I
Do you
feel
think
we're the Guardians of the Galaxy in the merger of the
Ooh,
Avengers,
okay.
and then I
What
feel
does that
like
make the rest of them?
What's
okay. So Oceania, let's say Oceania is
well?
like.
That means we live in space mostly.
Oh, dude, I'm in space all the time.
What's down under?
OAC Down Under.
I feel like we have to be a more central part.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the central part.
You want to be the cool funny
No,
guy?
I
because
wanna be
we're
the- I wanna be
but
the cool
we're-
funny
we're-
guys that
We're,
come
we're
in.
going to them.
True.
Yeah,
That's true.
maybe they're the central guys.
Yeah,
We're
because
going to them.
them.
We're Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, so they're like Captain
Gus
America.
is Rocket.
They're Iron Man.
They're
And
Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. I mean, Robert Falcon could pull off a good Thor, I reckon.
So who's even more fringe than the? Because
Then the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because OAC Oceania.
You
are
got
the most,
you got Doctor
the-
Strange,
like Ant Man or something.
Ant Man, Black Panther. I don't know. I mean, you could just have like. We'll think about the OSC down on maybe Ant Man and like
we'll make a graph.
maybe the Asgardians and like maybe
Why did we pick a Marvel
Korg.
reference?
Korg's Kiwi, technically.
Yeah.
Voiced by Kiwi, so maybe Korg is like
Well,
is
Thor
Craig.
is Australian, man.
No, he's from Asgard.
I'm so lost on these
Alright.
references. Can we
That
just go
reference
back to
wasn't
the
great.
Power Rangers? Can we just
Yeah.
say like?
We'll just say the Power
Can we
Rangers.
just say like we're the pink one, they're the yellow one, and then
OSC
someone else
Europe's
is
the yellow one,
is the blue one?
and then the OSC down under is the blue one.
Let's make them the green one actually.
Yeah. Then what's Olivier? Olivier's the black one or the red one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's whoever runs the Power
I think the red
Rangers.
one runs the Power Rangers, right?
Does he?
Red or- I think the
well-
black or the gold one are like super high too.
Okay, we'll make him
Right.
that.
All 3 teams are going to be in the same place for the first time.
Epic,
it's gonna be
epic
like a-
meetup, epic collab.
Epic collab.
Epic
Dude,
collab.
I can't wait to do 200 in hills with the
Everyone's doing
everyone.
200 heels together.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh. Oh, he just farted if anyone didn't hear that. I think that's a really good time to... Is there anything else before we wrap up this segment?
I thought that was wrapping it up.
Oh, that was wrapping. Okay, I should have known.
I thought that was wrapping it up, bro.
So, we're going to close the book on this. Good luck to these boys for racing this week. And now we actually have a surprise segment. I think we're going to call it Coaching Kev.
Coaching Kev, yeah.
We haven't even talked about it yet, but it's all going to be explained very shortly. That we reached out, asked for an athlete who wants to be coached by us. We found one. We found an absolute gem. Not that you guys are all gems, but he has some good, distinct goals, which we're very excited to help him achieve. And so up next, we have Coaching Kev. And we're back with a very special segment. I think many of you will remember, it must have been almost 2 months ago when we put out the call to find an athlete to coach. And we said thank you at the time for this. We got so many great applications, and we wish that we could coach you all. Unfortunately, we do not have the capabilities, the time, the resources, but we did pick one very special athlete, and that is Mr. Kevin Boyle. Kevin, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Thanks. I'm honored to be here and honored to have been chosen. So I'm excited for this adventure.
That's a good way of putting it. And I think I'll just to start off, I'll just say essentially why we chose you. And just to put it out in the air, so it's not like some secret that comes out later and we get exposed. We did go to college together. So we do have a history, Kevin and I. We do have a history. Let that be known. But we were friends from a distance because we were both athletes there and we had mutual friends, but we weren't like hanging out every day. I think we had a lot of respect for each other. One time, Kevin punched me in the throat. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't recall. One of those nights, huh?
And Kevin and I have actually raced each other once before. Kevin, do you want to explain when we raced each other?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that was probably the same night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
This was pre-cross country season. Well, probably July.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
in the summer. Yeah, it was good. One of those pre-cross country kind of summer parties. Weather's beautiful in Madison. Of course, it's one of those nights where maybe getting down to 70 degrees or something like that. I think this was actually after one of those cross-country camps. So a lot of the camp counselors saw some other fun Illinois runners and everything there at the Brickyard. That's what we called the house. So that was our college house, the good old Brickyard. And actually, I was roommates with Nolan Furlick, who is Mason Furlick's younger brother. So for
crazy link.
Some other runner connections out there. But anyways, yeah, randomly in the night, I guess we were boxing in the street. But of course, we had the gloves and everything. So it was a fun time. Sorry about the throat. I kind of feel bad.
It really hurt. It actually really hurt because you're a big guy. We gotta make that known. You're a big guy, and so you punched me in the throat. It was quite painful.
God,
no, I feel like the important part of this race was the fact that it was naked. It's nice for me to put us to face. Finally, I saw this video probably 2 years ago.
Wait,
I think it made an early
I have a video.
Morgan.
I have a video of.
There's a video of it
of the start.
Of the start.
You're gonna have to send me this video.
Yeah.
So now I'm finally, a couple of weeks ago, putting Kevin's face to his lovely butt in this video.
Yeah. So anyways, to get back to the story. Yeah. So we essentially, there was a block around the house in the Brickyard, and we decided to sprint around it. And naturally, we were naked. And to finish the race, I think Morgan pulled ahead just at the end. I think you fell at the beginning, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought you fell. You fell halfway.
Yeah, probably. I don't know why we're all falling and stuff. But anyways, right at the end, a car was coming through the intersection. We didn't know what to do because it was just blasting us with our lights. So we kind of had to swerve out of the way. But yeah, that was a fun adventure.
Yeah. So,
no public indecency charges?
No, that's fine in Madison in the summer. I think there's no rules there.
Yeah.
Everything's on limits. But I suppose I didn't actually say why we chose him. George, do you want to get into what we like so much about Kevin's application?
Yeah, well, should we read an excerpt from it, or should we just explain how good of an application message it was? It was the perfect combination of motivational goals and humor that just really struck a chord with us.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to read it out because I would say what was the most inspiring thing for us, or exciting thing I should say, is that Kevin had really clear goals. He wants to break 4:20 in the mile, and he has about 3 or 4 mile races lined up this summer. And now he also has a secondary goal of breaking 16 in the 5K. And so when we saw that, we were like, that sounds like a fun thing to coach. And so that's kind of like the context of like what this is. It's coaching Kevin, the sub 420 project. What's your
Yeah, that's what we've named it, because we did have so many applications of people, with a full marathon, for example, or something further down the track, and we thought, because we want to share the journey with the listeners as well, it'll just be a lot easier and hopefully more fun to follow an athlete like Kevin, who's got a few races on the calendar, a little bit sooner and a little bit shorter, so we can keep the updates coming and share the journey a bit more.
Yeah, I think all the races will be very exciting. So just today, we wanted to introduce Kevin to all you guys. So Kevin, do you want to give yourself a little intro on your running background, especially like your PBs and all that?
Yeah, definitely. I was a decent high school runner. But anyways, went to University of Wisconsin-Madison, as Morgan noted, and was rowing on the team for a bit. Love the sport of rowing, great sport, but ended up quitting because of the love for running. It just always pulls you back in. So started to try to run again, and got pretty decent at the mile. Broke my high school PR by like 14 seconds in college. Ran a 4:24. So really happy with that. But there's just some appeal that's like, it's so much sexier of a number when it's under 420 and there's like a single digit, so I have that written on the wall in my basement, a little checkbox for sub 420. So still chasing it. I'm 28 years old. So, the speed doesn't last that long. Have a few more good years for it, and then we'll move up to the 10K, half marathon. But the miles, the time to be now. But I'm a bigger runner.
Years.
What'd you say?
Once we've been coaching you for a few years, then we'll move up.
Yeah, exactly. It's all part of the progression plan with the coffee club coaching. But anyways, I am a bigger runner, like 200 pounds, 6'4". So the body may have been built for rowing, but
the heart.
What'd you say?
The heart just wants to run.
Yeah, exactly. So if there are weight classes or weight class world records out there, please let me know, because I would be trying to chase them down. So but that's really the history there. I was dealing with an Achilles injury for a really long time. Finally got cleared from it. Finally fixed it, and just enjoying the miles and excited to run some fast road races and track races this summer, and being coached by the legends themselves.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so exciting. It's like that got that college time PB and come back and try break it. Just knock 4 seconds off it, get under 420, and you have, as I already said, all these races lined up. The first one being the Wisco Mile, I think, is the next one on the calendar, June 10th. I believe it's around then. So we'll do, I think probably on our Instagram or something, we'll put out a graphic with all the races and stuff so everyone can follow along the Coaching Kev saga. But George is definitely spearheading the coaching side of here. So do you want to give a little rundown of how you're approaching this, George?
Yeah, I don't want to expose where I've been getting it to give.
Full transparency.
Yeah, full transparency. Taking a little bit of inspiration from the Mike Smith, a little bit from Ritz, and a little bit from a VDOT calculator that I Googled online. I don't know if anyone else has had this, that dabbled in a little bit of coaching and with an athlete that runs different paces to yourself. But we gave Kevin a workout yesterday, probably a harder one. We've been coaching him for just over a week now. So last week was the first week, threshold and a fartlek, which is hard to screw up, and Kevin absolutely nailed it. But we tried to give him something a bit harder yesterday to test him, and it was so hard to come up with like the paces for something. So
it wasn't bad though. It was just a little bit off.
Yeah, in the end, actually, I put in a 425 mile into a VDOT calculator, and then did a little jimmying to find some paces. But pretty simple training plan. We're going 2 workouts a week, a long run, some hill strides, just the basics. How's it been so far, Kev?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, no, I love introducing a lot of more speed, the hill sprints, the strides. That workout yesterday was the first time me ever doing anything like that. So I saw it the night before and got a little excited.
We should say it was sets of, was it 4 sets of 800, 300?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the 800s were just a bit slower than my old pace, like more like, is it 5K pace or even slower? Kind of close to 5K.
No, I think it is about 5K pace.
And then the 300s are a little bit quicker than mile pace. So that was the workout that we gave Kev, 225s and is it 47s or 46s?
Kind of 49 down to 46.
Yeah.
Pretty good on that end.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's been great. Body's feeling good. I'm feeling confident. You know, Wisco mile, it's a little soon for the PR, but have some other miles scheduled in like late June and late July. So feeling pretty good.
One other thing that I loved was your previous training. You had already set up, you were coaching yourself and you had already set up a very good week of training, pretty typical and similar to what we're doing with 2 workouts, a long run. But you had said that you had been doing essentially all threshold work, and you said that you had just gotten it all from an article on JAKOB. Was that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that was basically it. I assume that article's somewhat popular, but I don't even know if it was true. But I was like, well, this is really easy to follow. It's like just 20 by 400 or like 10 by 1K with 1 or 2 minute rest and keep it like below 180 beats per minute. And I was like, all right, easy enough.
It is very logical, easy to follow, but hopefully with the attention that you're getting from us, we can give you a slightly more specific and dialed in training plan. We're not going to get away from the threshold stuff fully, but during this time of year, I think we'll back away from it a little bit. But
Probably be smart.
yeah, so that's kind of the intro on Kevin, and we're very excited to coach him through the season and see how the races go.
One of the races is a beer mile, correct? Do you have a PR
Yeah.
in one?
Yeah, the Beer Mile World Championships. They had like a Clydesdale. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Clydesdale division, which is like essentially they had a men and a women's, and the men's was if you're over 200 pounds, you could sign up for and like win $100. So I was like, I think that's great. A weight division. I think I can be competitive in that. So that'll be fun. That's in Chicago. I think July 1st. But yeah,
I'm excited for that one.
You're gonna be very hard to beat. I think in terms of it's nice to have the time goals, but then in terms of pure competition, we're going for that world title at those BMR World Championships. But yeah, I think that's a nice little intro on you, Kev. You did say that before we let you go, you wanted to pitch us on an idea, or pitch, I guess, the whole podcast or the listeners and everyone. So the floor is yours.
yeah. All right, beautiful. I'll end it off on this. This is a business pitch to, as we always hear from Morgan and George and all them of the Chicken Boy Morgs League, or all the other ideas that are floating around. This may have gotten some inspiration from there. But anyways, it's about making the sport more spectator friendly. And so how can we make the sport more spectator friendly? What I call this is like ESPN notifications, but for individual runners. Where if the Denver Nuggets are playing an NBA whatever finals game, like you're gonna get a push notification to your phone, like, oh, they're playing tonight at whatever 4 o'clock or something like that, right? And then maybe you can click on that, it'll open the stream, or you'll get like a score update at halftime, and it'll give you the score of the game. Anyways, it makes it really easy to follow your favorite teams in those events. But the issue with track and field, and I'm sure people in the audience can relate to this, is that like if you're trying to follow your favorite runner, like let's say at the World Championships, like Morgan's running the 5K, George is in Steeple, Ollie's in the 1500, you're looking up all of the times that they're running. You're probably putting in your notes app of like, all right, George is running at 3:27 p.m. Steeple Heat 1 or something like that. And then you might put a link to like the Heat guide or something like, I've done that hundreds of times. Or you say like, hey, Google, remind me Morgan's running at 4 o'clock this evening or something like that. So and that's just more friction, right? It's difficult to follow, so many different runners, so many different events, all that stuff. So the solution here would be the product would be pretty simple. It'd be a website page. You go to the website, whatever the heck it's called, and then there's a phone number. You submit your phone number, and then it just texts you a code to verify your phone number. And then boom, a list of athletes appear. They could be sorted by like country, by team, training group, or by event. And then you select your athlete that you want to follow. So great I select Morgan McDonald. Boom. Okay. Oh, it shows on Athletic Club now. I select Ollie. I select George. Stuff like that. And then as a result, you will get text notifications about when they're running. So let's say like Ollie on Sunday and Rabat, the heat sheets were just released. You're going to get a text like 3 days before saying, oh, Ollie's running an event this Sunday. Here's the time that he's running. Here's a link to the heat sheet and maybe a link to like where you can, the stream, right? And then that's 3 days before, and then maybe another text update a day before, and then maybe another one an hour before. And then after the event, it will like send you a link to the results. And that would basically be it. Simple as that.
Amazing.
So if there's anyone out there, I kind of have the idea of how it could be built, and also how it could be grown. But if there's any software developers out there that are interested in building and partnering on this with me, hit me up in my DMs, or we'll put something in the notes.
That's genius.
Well, we do know one software developer. Goes by the name of Tom Wang.
Oh,
He's actually our in-house software man.
He's talking about in-house software development,
and he may happen to be coming to Boulder and staying at my place tonight. So
we'll have it done in the next couple of days.
But
we'll connect offline.
But that is definitely an amazing idea. I think that touches on so many of that's a great solution to what is such a large issue in our sport, because a lot of just the point of the league that we've talked about would be, it makes it really easy to follow because you actually know like when the races are and who's going to be competing in them. And this is just another example. This is an example of how to achieve that with the current system, which is obviously a lot more realistic and easier to do. So I think that idea would still have a lot of challenges, like a ton of challenges, because there's always uncertainty with schedules and getting that actual information can be difficult. But if someone's able to do it, which I'm sure they can. So this is, definitely going to take this to Tom Wayne, because he actually helped develop or work on TIFAs. So, and the way TIFAs works is coaches just like submit all these race results for their athletes and stuff to the website, and then they're always compiled there. So there's definitely a way to do it, and
there's potential here. The number of times I've like put into a web page like a meet and then like trying to get the results, and then you like go back up and like, all right, 2023, and then that gets the wrong thing. You just like
everything's very segmented and like fragmented and like across all different areas. So you would need a consolidation thing, like you mentioned with Tom Wang has the experience, so and some web scraping tools and all that sort of fun stuff. But
that's essentially probably like a better version of kind of Let's Run, because that's what Let's Run is. There's the message boards and the journalist work that they do, but the reason I go to Let's Run is because they often have the most accessible links to a results page or a streaming page. Yep. So it's essentially a better, more direct version of that. So let's see what we can do.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, appreciate y'all doing this and having me on, and I'm honored. So
no, we appreciate you so much, and very excited to see where this can take us. So Kevin, thank you very much for coming on the show today, and everyone for listening to this episode. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys all next week.